Most men operate under a pretty simple assumption. If you want someone to notice you, you need the right assets. A certain income bracket, a perfect jawline, or exactly the right thing to say to keep a conversation going. It makes sense on paper. We tend to treat dating like a math problem. You put in the status, the effort, and the charm, and the guaranteed result should be attraction. But human chemistry doesn't follow standard arithmetic. In fact, there is a strange paradox at play. The harder you push those logical inputs, the more you actively repel the exact response you're looking for. This is the one social dynamic where putting your foot on the gas guarantees a crash. Effort, at least the kind we're taught to use, actually works against you. To understand why that happens, you have to look at how attraction is actually processed. It is not a negotiation. It is an involuntary chemical reaction. The human nervous system processes cues like tone, pace, and spatial awareness in milliseconds before the logical brain analyzes a career or conversation. By the time the first words are spoken, biological instincts have already registered whether a man is grounded or desperate for validation. Because that pull is completely visceral, it bypasses logic entirely. You cannot debate your way into it, and you cannot convince someone to feel it. Women possess an incredibly finely tuned radar. Anytime you step into an interaction, that radar starts silently scanning your behavior. It doesn't care about the words coming out of your mouth. It filters out the practiced lines and the confident stories, looking entirely at the engine driving them. It asks, why is he acting this way? Specifically, it's scanning for desperation. It is constantly testing to see if you are performing to get a reaction, if you actually need her validation to feel okay about yourself in that moment. The moment she senses that you need her approval, the tension breaks. Needing validation signals a lack of internal stability, and that instantly shuts down the primal chemical pull. Let's map out exactly how this looks in practice. Imagine two guys walking into a room, both interested in the same person, but operating with completely different physical baselines. Man A relies on maximum effort. He talks quickly, he laughs a little too loudly at his own jokes. If there's a 2-second pause in the conversation, he immediately jumps in to fill the dead air with noise. He isn't necessarily saying anything wrong, but he is radiating a trying energy. Every movement communicates that he is working overtime to impress her, trying to secure his place in the room. Now look at man B. He takes a zero-effort approach. His movements are slow and deliberate. He listens. When a silence drops, he just lets it sit there. When he finally makes eye contact, his demeanor is entirely different. He acknowledges she exists, but his movements prove he is completely unaffected by her presence. Because he refuses to chase her energy, his stillness actually creates a vacuum. He isn't pushing himself into her space, he's quietly pulling her into his. The guy who inevitably commands a room's attention is the one whose physical presence proves he requires absolutely nothing from the room to exist comfortably inside it. True confidence manifests in a specific stillness. While most men fill the air with physical and verbal static, a man who knows his own value operates with an internal calm that is impossible to ignore. While most guys spend their nights operating in a constant state of noise, performing and adapting to what they think others want, a rare few operate in silence. That silence carries more weight than any rehearsed line. Faking aloofness or playing hard to get is just another variation of the same performance. If you are ignoring someone specifically to see how they respond, you are still letting their reaction dictate your behavior. This shift in dynamics only occurs through a genuine detachment from the outcome. When you no longer require a specific reaction to feel secure, you stop being a variable in her environment and start becoming the anchor. So drop the act. Stop treating conversations like auditions. Plant your feet, embrace the silence, and allow yourself to just exist inside your own frame. You are never supposed to chase someone down and convince them to be attracted to you. You are supposed to build a grounded presence that simply becomes the reason it happens.